and mountainous countries like Nepal are facing severe and disproportionate impacts of climate change, which was just described by somebody. But the global climate agenda and climate processes are yet to sufficiently reflect the plight of developing and mountainous countries. Against this backdrop, the distinguished speakers in today's conclave will shed light on these concerns through, I guess they will be talking a lot about the different aspects of climate diplomacy, climate justice, loss and damage fund, the role of media, and what we could do in the upcoming crisis at Azerbaijan. Ladies and gentlemen, while we are talking about climate crisis, we just witnessed what was referred to by the previous speaker, a catastrophic flood and landslide that devastated the central region of Nepal barely a month ago. The disaster was evidently the result of extreme weather event, as the rainfall in many places during the fateful 3 days amounted to much as half of the total rainfall Nepal receives throughout the monsoon. It is not that we have not witnessed such rainfall in the past, but now it is more intense, because I am an inhabitant of this valley, and as a child I remember the Chobar Gorge filling up right to the top like it was today. But that time Kathmandu was a less populated city and people were not living around the river banks. But now the incidents are also more severe than before, and we have a lot of people also living inside the valley. So such events have resulted in the tragic loss of more than 250 lives. In addition, the same number of people, I mean, we always have casualties related to climate in Nepal, but this year just one event led to so many deaths. And we are yet to fully apprise the damage to our roads, bridges, hydroelectric projects, and other public and private property. A lot of people have lost their livelihoods as a result of the recent floods just in one part of the valley. And I dread to imagine what would happen if such events become more and more frequent, which is bound to happen. Mr. Chair, the scientific community in particular, through the IPCC reports, has unanimously attested that such extreme weather and climate events are caused by global warming and climate change. It is a matter of gross injustice to Nepal and similarly other nations like ours, which hardly contribute to the global greenhouse gas emissions, but we are the victims of such climate disasters. When the UN Secretary General visited Nepal last October, he was shocked to observe what he called terrible impact of climate crisis in the Himalayas. What he said came after his tour to the Everest and Annapurna regions, where we witnessed the grim realities of unfolding crisis in the mountain lives and ecosystem. At this juncture, I recall and re-emphasize his urgent appeal to the international community to move forward with climate action. Ladies and gentlemen, I also echo the distinguished speakers who he called for urgent climate justice. The developed countries whose actions have precipitated the climate crisis must provide adequate resources, technology, and other support to the developing countries for the adaptation and resilience building. And I'm so happy that we have a representative here from the UK government and also our friends from the New York Times, whose influence goes far beyond just the reaches of the room right here. I hope the voice that they take from here will be resounded and re-echoed in many other such forums. The promises from the UNFCCC to the Paris Agreement to the annual COPs have been aplenty, but the delivery is sorely lacking. All climate finance commitments must be met and upscaled, keeping in mind the need to invest $5 to $7 trillion annually to green the economy by 2030. And we are already towards the tail end of 2024. So we are really running out of time. There must be adequate grant-based and concessional resources for developing countries to meet their needs for adaptation and resilience building. All climate funds and facilities, including the Loss and Damage Fund that was operationalized from COP28, must be adequately capitalized, and the resources should be easily accessible to the developing countries. The COP29 in Baku should be an opportunity to take stock and to make concrete progress on all tracks of the climate agenda. On the part of Nepal, the Honorable Minister of Forest and Environment and myself, we have been talking whether we can host a side event specifically related to loss and damage, because Nepal has really witnessed tremendous loss. We lost the Melamchi project, went back a few years, and we've spent almost 2-3 decades building that. Then we had this glacial outburst triggered floods last year in the Sunkosi, and that has damaged a lot of our hydropower projects. And recently we had another Gulf outburst issue in Thame. A whole village was lost. Unfortunately, not much loss of life, unfortunately. And now we've recently had these devastating floods. So how, and I know because we are all both in the cabinet, we know Nepal doesn't have the means to compensate or rebuild all of this by ourselves. So who is going to help us to do this? So what about all the commitments we have done? And I know Nepal has applied for 2 programs to the Global Climate Fund. One is to look at floodplains in an area called, around a river called Dhoda in far west, and also to manage and siphon off all the moraine from the rivers, from the glacial lakes. But it is taking time in coming, and we hope it's going to really happen before the disasters occur. That's why this upcoming COP is an opportunity to take stock, and we are making preparations for effective participation by reiterating the concerns, needs, and priorities of climate vulnerable countries, mountain countries, and also as the chair of the LDCs. A lot of the LDCs are also facing similar issues. So we've raised that voice at UNGA and all the other events that followed, and we are also going to raise this voice very strongly at the COP29. We will underscore the need of easy, smooth, predictable, and adequate access to climate finance for the most vulnerable and poor countries. And today I saw on the agenda, though I will not be here, hopefully I can still attend till around few minutes more, that the global south and the global north have to work together. There is no other way except to do that, because all the refugees you see now going, they might be going for other reasons, but soon the global north will have to contend with refugees who will try to migrate because of climate. There will be climate refugees in the near future. So all these things that we are looking at is something that really needs to have a very loud voice, not only within Nepal but globally. In the COP28 last year in the UAE, Nepal promoted the mountain agenda to bring awareness of the impacts of climate change in the mountain ecosystem and communities. Turning to our national plans, the recently, what we've started implementing, our 16th development plan of Nepal includes internationalization of these issues of climate change as an important policy strategy, and it has, Nepal has really prioritized climate diplomacy. So I can't thank Republic Media and New York Times more for really, like buying into this agenda and organizing forums like this one. Our 16th plan incorporates programs to enhance access to climate financing, to implement climate change adaptation and mitigation plans to meet our financial and technological gaps. Similarly, we are committed to achieving net zero greenhouse gas emission by 2045. We are utilizing our vast hydropower potentials to secure clean energy and have reached 45% forest cover in our total land area, which is a really big commitment considering we have more mountains and hills than farmlands. Mr. Chair, ladies and gentlemen, global warming and climate change transcend borders, yet their effects and impacts have varied across regions. That is why the government of Nepal had decided in April 2019 to organize something called a Sagarmatha Sambad, which was meant to be a forum to discuss the most pertinent issues in the fields of environment, economy, and other socio-cultural fields. However, we were not able to organize that due to climate change, due to the COVID pandemic, and we are going to now organize this dialogue in 2025. And I hope to see many of you come back for that. And I think whatever the learnings will be from this forum, we will take it forward and also include it in the Sagarmatha Sambad that will take place next year. Finally, let me reiterate that the discussions today are bound to be lively and enlightening, and I hope there will be a strong call for action for climate change. I believe that whatever you all talk about today will help us for our discussions in COP29 and our other climate negotiations. And by the way, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is also organizing a training on how to negotiate. So we will be reaching out to our climate negotiators also to see what we can do and how we can do better so that Nepal really gets the funds it deserves. And I wish the organizers of this forum all success, and thank you so much for your interest, and thank you for everybody who's come here today to listen and attend this important event. Thank you so much.